Shalom Goyim. It's the Dismal Collective here. I want to make a really quick video for you all today. Just going over a happening, a news article about a happening that happened to happen in a region where I live, where I happen to live. And so we're going to go over that. And I'm going to be doing more of these videos in the near future. Basically, they're going to be used to bolster a broader point that I've made. And if you want to know what that point is, my woke Wickerman theory, again, I'm not claiming that nobody's had this insight. It should be obvious to me. Like, I don't think I'm necessarily pushing the frontier with this take or anything. It's, probably something everybody else has kind of noticed, but just hasn't made it explicit yet. I do find an alarming lack of discussion around this particular narrative, let's say. So I'm going to be going on as time goes on. I'm going to be trying to bring up different instances and highlight them in an attempt to add support to and bolster my theory. I'm going to try to add a little bit of credence to it. And so 2 days ago in Toronto, outside of the City Hall building, they raised the Palestinian flag. And this is the first time that it was ever raised. It was, I guess, Palestine Independence Day. It was the act was in commemoration of Palestinian independence. I'm not sure of all the details. I'm really not concerned with the ins and outs of this. There's no research that's going to go into this video. So feel free to chime in the comments if there's anything I miss or if there's anything I get wrong. That's, more than welcomed. But they raised the Palestine flag outside of Toronto City Hall. And there was no other flag on this pole either. There wasn't like a Canadian flag above it. As I understand it, if you raise another nation's flag, it's legally required that you raise your own country's flag above it. It has to be situated below the flag. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Whatever, right? I kind of read that somewhere. But I'm going to read an article here, essentially. This is a very nuanced tactic. It's a very, very nuanced and covert type of a psyop that I'm scared even a lot of people who should know better will take the bait on. So we're going to read here. First article. And again, I have no prep for this, so we're kind of winging it. Okay, so this was from the National Post. The title of the article: "We tried to fight back," says Jewish group that wanted to stop Palestinian flag raising at Toronto City Hall. Quote, "We have to do something because writing letters is a waste of time. Saying we condemn is a waste of breath," said Executive Director of Tafsik Organization Amir Epstein. The article was written by Courtney Greenberg. And so let's get into this here. How do I access this without paying for it? Come on, are you fucking kidding me? I had the article up unless they've now... Okay, here we go. A Jewish advocacy group says it tried to fight back. Oh, what the fuck? Every time I start reading it, it disappears on me behind a paywall. Okay, I'm going to have to very quickly screenshot. I'm going to have to refresh and then screenshot. Okay. Are you fucking kidding me? Bro, who the fuck pays for fucking National Post? $12 for 1 year. Bro, you couldn't pay me $12 for 1 fucking year. Come on. All right, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to figure this out. Okay, we're back in business. So I got it up on Yahoo News. A J-ish advocacy group says it tried to fight back to stop the raising of the Palestinian flag at Toronto City Hall. We have to do something because writing letters is a waste of time. Saying we condemn is a waste of breath. Executive, blah, blah, blah. We know that we have to do something, and so we tried and we failed. But at least we didn't go down as allowing it to happen. We tried to fight back. They were too strong for us. The group filed an injunction to stop the Palestinian flag from being raised, but it was dismissed before Monday morning's ceremony, which went ahead despite opposition from another J-ish advocacy group, B'nai B'rith, as well as more than 25,000 people who signed a petition and even a city councillor. Quote, Canada is supposed to be an inclusive country to everyone, and it's become really uninhabitable for so many people in the J-ish community, Epstein said. He added that the Palestinian flag has become a symbol of violence toward our community. Over the past 2 years, since October 7th, 2023, the deadliest attack on Jays since the Holocaust, which sparked a war in the Middle East. The flag has been used by rioters that go to the streets blocking ambulances, blocking hospitals, and standing in front of synagogues to intimidate the Jayish community, he said. Simon Wool, the CEO of B'nai B'rith Canada, called the flag raising in Toronto and in other cities across Canada deeply disappointing. He said it was troubling, especially against the backdrop of anti-Semitism within this country. It is not only callous, but downright inflammatory and dangerous for civic authorities to sanction events that pay homage to a day rooted in terrorism and violence, said Wool in an emailed statement shared with National Post on Monday. The request to raise the flag was made to recognize Palestinian Independence Day, which was on November 15th, yada, yada, yada. By giving credence to the Palestine Liberation Organization's self-declared Day of Independence, our leaders are sanctioning the anti-Semitism and terror that were synonymous with the PLO and the First Intifada, he said. Intifada. I'm not sure what that refers to. So again, I'm not really deep in the weeds with this topic, but a video posted on X shows the Palestinian flag being raised to chant of "Free, free, free Palestine." In another video, some attendees can be seen cheering and holding Palestinian flags at Nathan Phillips Square before the platform where the flag was raised. Events like this flag raising undermines the noble efforts of all those who advocate for proliferation of human rights and detract from efforts to build a multicultural community, said Wool. We will not allow these decisions which further jeopardize the well-being and increase the marginalization of Jewish Canadians to go unchallenged. He said B'nai B'rith Canada will leave no stone unturned in examining what mechanisms are available to us to hold those responsible for authorizing these inciting and hate-filled events accountable. Josh Landau, the Director of Government Relations in Ontario for the Centre of Israel and Jewish Affairs, said the group's message to all levels of government has been clear. Symbolic gestures recognizing Palestinian statehood, including flag raisings, do not advance peace, especially while Hamas remains in power and terrorizes both Israelis and the Palestinians, he told National Post in an emailed statement. After the flag was raised, Toronto police posted on social media around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, saying that a man at the demonstration had been arrested for assault with a weapon and administering a noxious substance. No injuries were reported. The fight continues, Tafsik posted online Monday. Canada's recognition of Palestine on September 21, 2025 was explicitly conditional, requiring democratic reforms demilitarization, exclusion of terrorist groups from governance, and progress toward a two-state solution, conditions that remains unmet, said Epstein in a news release earlier in November. Proceeding with the ceremony under these circumstances misapplies the policy and transforms a civic symbol into a partisan endorsement. B'nai B'rith told National Post last week that commemorating this moment in the context of rising anti-Semitism in Canada is not only insensitive, but also reckless and irresponsible. A Change.org petition to stop the flag raising in Toronto garnered more than 25,000 signatures. It called for a different way to show support for Palestinians that would not create more division. City Councillor James Pasternak also posted against the flag raising, saying that although political activism is a sacred charter right, it does not grant blanket impunity to disrupt the lives of law-abiding citizens, trample laws, endanger public safety, or hijack civic spaces. They love that word, civic. Well, I'm sitting in a Honda Civic. You can't violate my civic space. Okay? According to the City of Toronto, flags of nations... Holy fuck, how long is this article? I might shut it down in a minute, but I'll keep reading. See how long this is. The Government of Canada, on their National Day or on the anniversary of a special occasion, can be raised on existing courtesy flagpoles following an approved request. The city confirmed to National Post last week that the request to raise the Palestinian flag was made on behalf of Palestinian advocacy group, the International Center for Justice for Palestine. However, Epstein said the event was being endorsed by groups including Toronto for Palestine, CJPME, Labour for Palestine, Palestine House, and others who have histories of protests escalating to violence or rhetoric accused of promoting anti-Zionism, which critics equates with anti-Semitism, under definitions like the IHRA working definition adopted in various Canadian contexts. So they have, I want to look that up, but I'm probably not going to. The IHRA, this is like the, what did Orwell call it? The Ministry of Truth and Newspeak. The working definition, which equates anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. So let's keep going for a moment because that's kind of interesting. Meanwhile, the ICJP said in a news release that the flag raising is a symbolic show of solidarity for Palestinians in Toronto and beyond. The flag raising is inherently political, said Epstein. Other Canadian cities have recently raised Palestinian flags, including Calgary, Winnipeg, and Mississauga. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of like sum up my thoughts on this. Now, the very first thing that I heard about this, I had logged into Facebook and a page called, hold on, let me get my gallery images up here. So a page called, Donald Trump for President, which I wasn't even following. It says, news, Canadian police officer shut off a speaker playing the Canadian national anthem while the Palestinian flag was being raised at Toronto City Hall. First time the flag has ever been raised there, and instead of letting Canadians show a little patriotism, police rushed in to silence them. Unreal. Clown country. Then you could go to the comments right away, and they were saying, like, are there other country flags displayed here in addition to the Canadian one? If so, why? So just scrolling through the comments, you know, it was basically like, this was an attack on Canadian nationalism. Like some guy, you know, I would like to know who this guy was. I already know, but I would like to confirm my suspicion about who this person was that was playing the Canadian anthem and then got shut down by police. But that was the framing of this whole thing, was like, this is another part of like the woke mob clown world, what a clown world we're living in. We can't even, they're raising the Palestine flag and we can't even play the Canadian national anthem. And I'll give the Jays credit this time. Besides that article I read from the National Post, like that was kind of a specific commentary that was being given by one individual person. But in general, they weren't even mentioning Zionism. They weren't even mentioning the Jays. They weren't even mentioning anything like that, which is smart, right? They want you to sort of like get there yourself. They don't want to necessarily like point you to water. They want to point you to the water, but they don't want to make you drink like they used to do in the past. They want that part to just naturally follow as like a logical conclusion from the fact that now people are going to see this. And people in the comments, the ones who aren't bots, which I'm sure leaves very few, are going to see this. And as soon as they think of Palestine, they're going to think of Canadian national anthem being shut down, part and parcel of like clown world TM, basically. And again, this is the whole thing where Zionism is going to be on the side of anti-woke. It's going to be like helping to burn down the Wickerman. They're going to say, oy vey, these are the same people that want to cut your kids' cocks off. These are the same people that denied that George Floyd was on fentanyl when he died. Oh my God, and now they're raising the Palestine flag. Oh, the horrors. Oh my God, the worst attack since the Holocaust. It's the same thing. They're trying to pull this up. A polarity shift in the political paradigm. They bring all these people in here. But then you got to be careful too, because you don't want to hear what I'm saying and then go and side with Palestine. Because Islam is its own can of worms. Islam is its own issue. These people are subhumans in every sense of the word. Like, these people are annoying. These people are a nuisance. These people are culture distorting agents of chaos and mass destruction. Cockroaches in human skin. You don't want to just knee jerk and be like, okay, well, I support Palestine then because this is a psyop. You don't want any part of the false dichotomy. You can denounce both sides. You can just denounce Abrahamism outright and in its entirety. I don't think Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are all in need of staunch rejection. None of it can be preserved. None of it is worth preserving in any form that it may take. I don't even want to quibble about this sect or that strand or anything like that. It's all doo-doo. It's all irredeemably fucked up. And you should never, ever, even in opposition of a bigger enemy, you should never, ever take the side of any of this crap. And like I said, if you don't know what my overarching theory is, I kind of spell it out pretty well and thoroughly in my last video, the most subversive black pillar of all time. Basically in the final 5 or 10 minutes of that video, I think that, all of woke was a long game. PC woke clown world TM was basically never ever supposed to come to be the predominating zeitgeist or what would gain mass acceptance. Actually, it was a reverse psychological operation where people were supposed to get so sick of it, so put off by it. It was supposed to be so appalling and offensive that you would almost form your worldview in opposition to it in any form that it takes. And then they were going to try to slip Zionism in with the return to normalcy by kind of like welding the Palestinian liberation movement and this whole state of Palestine in general, but by sort of like lumping that in with the transgender movement, the LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the people that like champion for George Floyd, the people that say your ancestors are evil. That's where Zionism and white nationalism have a little bit of a very odd merger. There's a very, very, very awkward merger that they are attempting where it's Zionism and the Jays are almost trying to like somewhat align themselves with white nationalism and like whatever, right? In opposition to woke and the people that are saying your grandparents and their grandparents were evil and you need to repent and pay back reparations to all of their all the ancestry of their victims and stuff like that. These people were morally bankrupt and all of this stuff, right? Which is obviously going to be like extremely offensive to most everybody that you tell that to. And you want them to develop an association with the guy saying that also being like pro-Palestinian and saying, oh, the state of Israel is an imperialist, white supremacist nation. They shouldn't exist. They're just like the evil ancestors of the pilgrims that came and kicked the Mexicans off the land, kicked them out of California. Like, they want you to associate the things like that in that sense. So be on the lookout for that. And if you oppose Israel, they will immediately, like Jays have done this to me many times. If you oppose Israel, they will immediately take to calling you like a Muslim bootlicker or whatever. This is their play. They're going to usher in the return to normalcy under Zion Dawn. He's the guy, my dad loves Trump. Everybody's dad loves Donald J., right? Donald Jew Trump. And who himself is a member of the tribe. Early section notwithstanding. Early life section. And that's it. Like, they're going to be... Even my boss at work is, like, fallen for this. You can hear he's, the people who, support Palestine and all of this, like, and, they think that men can be women and women can be men, and they hate Canada. They want to shut us down when we try to play the national anthem. All of this. It's so obvious what's happening, but the Goyim are so fucking stupid. I feel like I'm like the last Goy on earth that has 2 brain cells left to rub together. Everybody else is... Even what I'm saying in this video will probably be like... Somehow it'll be too high IQ for like 90% of my audience. Like, you need a 102 IQ to understand this, and the average IQ of my listeners like 90. So they're just gonna like leave these weird comments that totally miss the point, like as if they've actually accomplished some type of like meaningful criticism of me when they haven't. But yeah, anyways, dismal days indeed.